What is up, YouTube and all my fish keeping friends? How is everybody doing out there in fish tank land? Today we're going to talk about pests in the fish room. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so whether you have one tank or you have 20 tanks, you have plenty of fish that you're feeding, and with that you have a collection of fish food, and that's going to attract different kinds of pests that may come around your home. One of them being cockroaches, another one being mice or rats. And it looks like recently I've had a little family of mice that have come into my aquarium rack, hidden in a spot where I can't really get to, and I don't really, can't access. And so I've had to have a little bit of a war. So I want to go ahead and take you around the fish room, give you a little bit of an update, and I want to show you just some of the damage that has been caused by these rodents. Okay, so I'm in my kitchen, I'm handheld right now. I've got dinner on the stove, chicken and rice. I'm doing a little bit of water, some salt water for my live baby brine shrimp, mixing on the magnetic stir. Got water being made right now, but it is super quiet in here. It is super quiet in here, and that's because the air pumps are on, but they're not making any noise because there's no pressure on them. I got a little bit of bubbles coming out of that one. And I don't know what's up, but everything else pretty much is without air because I've had a little family of mice that were living in the bottom of this rack. Down here at the bottom is a little bit of a negative space. There's no way to really get in there except to chew through the foam underneath of this tank from the backside, is what they're doing, I think. And there was a little nest under here. So I even have a glue trap there. I've got traps set all over the house, underneath this rack in the kitchen, and just kind of dealing with that right now, going around fixing all of the hoses. This is an example of one hose that's just been chewed through. So the goal here is to first eliminate this little family of rodents, and then I can really focus on replacing some of this airline, because I replaced one piece of airline 3 days ago, and every night since then I've had those same airlines and more airlines chewed on. I think it's just the mother, and I have not nailed her yet, but it's coming. It's unfortunate that I have to do it, but I'm tired of throwing away airline tubing. So let's get back to my fish studio update. We'll start first with my grow out tub that I have in the corner. I've got my wild guppies in here. I've created this little floating foam platform full of a mixture of aquatic substrates and coco coir. I have this Asian water grass that I have anchored in here to keep it in place, seeing if it might root and throw out runners from the substrate here. Either way, it's throwing off runners from itself, and it's growing really well. I put a couple other things, this pearl weed that's not doing so well. I was trying to see if it would transition and grow immersed, but whatever, just playing around, a little bit of experiments. I have some leucistic fry in here, some leucistic guppy fry that are growing out in there. We have my tetras that I'm going to get some spawning mops in here and get these imperial tetras spawning soon enough. I still have to just totally clean all that duckweed. Duckweed and the hornwort have got to go, and this baby's got to get back to like straight black water soon enough. The Bowface tank, 29 gallon, is doing good. I look forward to soon enough getting these two monster rocks out of here. This whole tank is going to get completely redone and scaped. This light is not a bad light at all. It's about a $400 light, and it's really overkill for the substrate. These two big rocks just take all the light, and algae grows on them. So I really need to change that one out. So that's going to be a new scape soon enough. Elliot's doing good up here. I'm going to feed him tonight. I have the killifish in here, the Gardneri, the Fennel Penchax Gardneri. He's living a good life in here. He's chilling out. He's ready for dinner, that's for sure. That's why he's looking at me like that. This is his little 2.5 gallon tank. No filter, no air, nothing like that. It maintains a temperature about 76 degrees, maybe, not even, about 74, 75. And this living room is a little warmer. My kitchen holds about 72, 73 degrees, but this crypt is really loving it, that's for sure. The paludarium is doing good. I'm really happy about the paludarium right now. I've got a lot of new plants. I really need to make a video just on this paludarium. People have been asking. I have a nice little collection of plants, stuff that I've collected recently and I'm just waiting for it to adjust. There's a lot of different Bucephalandra in here in this tank living in the waterfall. So I do need to do a full-on video on that and go over everything in it. We have the shrimp, they're doing good. There's also a lack of air in this wreck. This tank lost its air as well, so I'm just giving it one more night of taking care of these rodents, and then I'm going to replace all these lines. I've had to replace this line twice because it's been chewed through a second time, a whole new piece of airline tubing. So the mother was, I'm sure her nest was down underneath here in the bottom of the rack where I just can't get to. I can't clean it. I can't. It's just a poor design, honestly, on my part when it comes to that. We have my leucistic guppies in here. This is a hybrid. It's a mixture of Endler and fancy guppy. It's a sunset microwave guppy and a black bar Endler. And I have this nice little leucistic line that came from that. And that's what the fry are in that other little grow out tub. This tank is doing really well. The lily is looking good in here, and just enjoying all the plants are pretty happy with each other right now. This is just a little bit of a grow out. This has an Apistogramma rubelineata. That's the only fish in here. There's some red cherry shrimp, and it's just a more of a plant quarantine tank really right now. Most of these plants are just sitting in here, in quarantine, pretty much. Okay, we'll make our way to the kitchen real quick, and we'll go over my blue tetras. I got my I have my my female bundle of Panchax gardneri killifish in there. This is something to talk about later. And here's my blue tetras. I'm really enjoying these. I need to do another update because things are moving really fast. As long as they get their live baby brine shrimp, they're really happy. As you can see, they're colony breeding. There's all different size fry in there with the adults. The adults are not predating on their fry, no matter the size. I still want to, break this colony down so that the fish can grow out faster. That's for sure. It would definitely help, and I have noticed that. So there still is good reason to separate them. So there's another colony. So I have 3 colonies right now of the blue tetras. We have Puzzolente here, Puzzolente, the domestic Beta splendens. He's living it up in here. He's pretty happy. Ginger Graves was she gave him his name, so I'm just calling him a Puzo for short, Puzzolente or Puzo. So, anyways, he's a pretty fish. These tanks, and most of the stuff doesn't have air on it right now. We've got local wild guppies, and we have red cherry shrimp in here. Both of these tanks I'm going to be rescaping completely, probably completely redoing these 2 tanks, and there's going to be blue tetras going into those tanks. And then I have my blue bolts in here, and I have another Fundal Panchax gardneri male in here, and this whole tank is starting to turn green. He's happy in there for sure, but there he is. But this whole tank needs to get redone. He's ready for dinner as well. And I'm ready for dinner myself. I'm gonna go make myself some chicken and rice and edit a little bit of content. I'm gonna go to war one more night on taking care of these rodents and replacing all of these airlines and getting some of these tanks back online with their sponge filters and just a little bit of extra oxygen in the water. Why not? But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to all of my subscribers out there. Thank you to all my patrons as well. And remember guys, keep your tanks clean, your fish fed, and have fun.